The stakes this afternoon could not be higher. We are operating in the undisputed group of death, and with the expanded 48-team FIFA Under-17 World Cup in Qatar looming on the horizon, the pressure on these young shoulders is immense. Stepping onto pitch 3 today are two teams desperate for redemption after a chaotic, heart-stopping match day 1. On one side, we have the defending champions, the Senegal Lion Cubs of Teranga. They arrived shell-shocked after a stunning 2-1 upset defeat to South Africa. While keep your eyes closely fixed on the towering centre-back of Cheikh Tio, experience at the highest highs on Thursday, scoring a brilliant header off pinpoint delivery in the incredibly dangerous Sega foul Moji. However, Tio suffered then an absolute heartbreak considering a wicked deflection that resulted in an own goal, sealing their defeat. Senegal's title defence on the line and simply must win today. On the other side of the pitch, well, we have the historic aristocrats of African youth football, the Black Starlets of Ghana. They come into this fixture haunted by a 2-2 draw against Algeria, a match where they completely dominated early on but surrendered a 2-goal lead and dramatic second-half collapse. Make no mistake, their attacking firepower is absolutely terrifying, and a little bit of a spoiler alert, they are largely unchanged from the first game, so I'm expecting quite exciting action going forward from Ghana. Watch out for the relentless pressing forward of Robinho Yao Gabi, who opened the tournament to count just 3 minutes into the match against Algeria. And of course, who could not look away from the sheer individual brilliance of Eric Abdou Gyamfi, who scored an audacious 40-yard chip against the Algerians. That's already a runaway contender for goal of the tournament, in my humble opinion. It's a clash of styles, a battle for sheer survival, and a premier showcase of Africa's brightest future stars. Senegal's highly structured modern academy machine versus Ghana's blistering, unpredictable vertical flair. The margins for error are gone. Strap in, folks. Kickoff is but 10 minutes away. We can see quite a few of the players from both teams warming up in our pictures here, slow-mo pictures. This is, of course, an under-17s tournament. The majority of players, if you're used to, say, European football or football outside of the likes of Ghana and Senegal, these names might not be quite as familiar to you, but trust me, they will become familiar over the course of the next 10 or 15 years, I'm sure, as a lot of these players will have very successful careers. We will, of course, bring you the starting lineups when the teams come out and do the national anthems and obviously their handshakes and everything like that. But I've already mentioned that Ghana have actually coming into this game largely unchanged as the Tifu gets rolled out into the centre of the pitch. That means we're pretty much ready for the teams to be coming out, with only about 8 minutes left to go before the match starts. The starting procedures getting underway nicely. Senegal, however, have a largely changed squad after their obvious defeat against South Africa. It's pretty clear that the coach was definitely in for a bit of a shock and maybe a restructuring of his team, especially in defence. I'll get onto that, as I mentioned, a little later on. If you didn't see the Ghana goal, which as I said, I'm backing for one of the goals of the tournament, I do really suggest, not right now, but you go and find that. You'll be able to find that on CAF TV, on YouTube, or wherever you're watching this from, or whether you can see the highlights on the CAF website, because it really is something sensational. And to be honest, that game generally was thrilling to watch. It's well worth having a look back on. The team's coming out. And of course, a big thank you to our sponsors for this tournament, Total Energies. This tournament, of course, been a properly sanctioned tournament since 1995. Since 1985, the Under-17s FIFA World Cup has obviously been around since then. And we started this tournament in 1995 to try and make sure that we got the best of the Under-17 African nations represented in that tournament. The World Cup expanding to 48 teams means that the top 2 in each division, each group I should say actually get presented up towards that FIFA World Cup. So there really is a very big carrot hanging at the end of this stick for these players to go on and represent their country in the world's biggest stage in their obvious So the CAF anthem being played out while they bring the Celebrate Africa flag, and of course the CAF flag themselves will be waiting for the national anthems of the two teams. Sit back and listen, because they are great.
Senegal. والآن مع النشيد الوطني للسنغال.
So with both teams shaking hands and the national anthems all played, the only thing left to do is start the lineup for this game. It's going to be an exciting one. Not South Africa versus Algeria, my apologies. It's of course Ghana versus Senegal. I've been researching an awful lot of games in there because there's so many that you really want to be keeping up with. But Ghana in goal, you can see Solomon Kiame Kese started the first game. Had a bit of a mistake, but right back, the captain Osman Puetti, the two centre-backs with Abdul Rafiu at left-back. In the middle of the park, Bafo, Mensah, Nyan Takyi, and of course up front, Yami, Gavi and Ebuaji. A great lineup, very exciting for Ghana, very unchanged it has to be said as well. Realistically, I think it's exactly the same lineup that went out against Algeria a couple of days ago. I mentioned to be keeping an eye on Gavi, who of course will be very strong moving forward. That's number 17 on the press, very much the instigator for the pressing movement of this Ghana team. Extremely fit and hungry players out there ready to try and bring Ghana their glory back. They've had a decade of where it hasn't been quite so glorious for them, but we'll get into the history of the teams a little later on. Osman, the right back, the captain for Ghana. The match officials, of course, on your screen there. Experienced officials, but trying to get even more experience at this age category. Senegal, I mentioned, a largely changed squad. I'm sure it'll be brought up on your screen in a second, but it is Azane Sarr. In fact, as I say, Azane Sarr in goal is also the captain. Now, Dieng has been moved from left-back into centre-back. Lamine has been moved from right-back over to left-back to fit in Diallo, who now fits in at right-back. And Thior, I mentioned, scorer of the first Senegal goal and also the scorer of an own goal to make it 2-1 to South Africa. In the middle of the park, there's only one player that's actually managed to retain their starting position in the lineup, and that's actually Sao, number 13. Sadio and Faye have come into midfield to try and solidify and potentially bring a little bit of creativity from in there as well. Up front, the only player who's actually kept their starting lineup in that area of the park as well is Dione, with Sai and Wagner operating up there as well. I'm sure both teams will have a bit of a fluid front three. Dione, I believe, started the last game in a central role. May well be moved out onto the wing. Players who ended up being dropped, actually, the likes of, in the front line, I should say, Sega, Fal and Bodji, who is a very, very dangerous from set pieces, very accurate, and high assists tallies always attached to their name. And on the left wing, they've replaced Magai Niang, who's a bit of an inverted winger, likes to cut inside on the stronger foot and try and whip the ball. Clearly, the balance wasn't right, though, for Senegal in the last game, so they come into this one versus Ghana with a hope to try and rescue a few points on the board, because both of these teams need it. It's a very difficult group to get out of. But the under-17 to AFCON here in Morocco, Ghana versus Senegal, is underway. And I cannot wait for this one. How are the two teams going to be figuring each other out? I suppose the next 10 minutes will let us know. Ghana shooting from left to right in the bright white kit. Senegal in the bright, well, not quite bright, but in the green kit from right to left. Senegal instantly trying to get their foot on the ball and playing out from the back. We can probably expect to see this quite a lot from them. These teams very capable on the ball, even though they're so young as players. Quite often in youth competitions all over the world in different sports, actually, you get a couple of standout players and then the rest of them are sort of almost there to facilitate. But you get the impression from both these two teams opening round and the research I've been doing on them that actually they are very well matched all across the park. With a couple of standouts, obviously, that we're hoping to be able to stand out over the course of this competition. Prosper Nata there, the Ghana coach, will have been pleased with a bit of what he saw in the first game. We'll want to keep that attacking flair going, even if it requires a little bit of tweaking as Abayaji gets shepherded out of play. Again, very strong wing, very direct play from him. We expect to see that a lot. Bit of a traditional winger, likes to get onto the byline, trying to find an inch of space to get around this player, take them one-on-one as we see a long throw launched in. Defended okay to start with, but it's a little bit scrappy, and there could be a bit of a break on here. Dione carrying the ball well, moving it out to the right-hand side. There's a big overload, no centre-backs almost, but well covered in the end by the Ghana centre-back. I think that's Poeti. I couldn't see whether it was number 25 or 24. Of course, both of them are... you got on the left side of centre-back, number 24, Aseo Atsu Kofi Poeti. And number 25 on the right side of the centre-back, Jacob Etse Kofi Poeti. So from when we can see them, I will try and distinguish which number they are. Senegal will get their first throw up the field. Now there is the coach who is in charge of Adar Seindina, in charge of trying to rectify the opening day's mishaps. A good turn there by Dione. Couldn't quite get the ball in as there's a bit of a battle towards the halfway line. Launched back in. Keeper has to have his hands on it. Nice and safe. Yantaki trying to move the ball forward here. Oh, he almost received the ball back, actually. It's a little bit scrappy. Ghana's certainly more, well, have a lot more speed in the progression, shall we say. They're very keen to try and get it forward as quickly as possible. Lamine, who has been moved from right back over to left back. Bit of a different ball game for them. But he does seem very comfortable as he glides past 2 or 3 and wins the free kick. Lamine there, again, drifting nicely, and it was actually Nyan Takyi who took him down in the end, didn't want him to progress any further. of minutes in, and I do feel that you're already getting a real identity from both of these teams. Sadio leaving the free kick. I'm not entirely sure who he's leaving it to. I don't think he really knew either, actually, or his teammates certainly didn't. This is what we can expect from Senegal. Bit of control, although that's very loose from the goalkeeper, Sarr. Sané Sarr, bit wild with the cross ball over to the right wing. Both these teams very successful in the qualification periods to get here, to try and drill the ball into the attack. We'll come back to that in a second. Again, Ghana happy to just try and push the ball up as soon as possible, trying to use the speed of Aboyje. I mentioned before, actually, that the under-17s FIFA World Cup was long before this was becoming a bit more of a sanctioned tournament. Before they were calling it the African Cup of Nations. Anyway, under-17s African Cup of Nations. That's a lovely ball out to the left wing, but it wasn't controlled in the end. It's Wagner, one of the players that's come in. But between 1989 and 1999, Ghana actually reached the final of the Under-17s World Cup in 4 out of 5 consecutive editions. Ghana really were a absolute force to be reckoned with when it comes to the Under-17 world stage. They'd claimed the global crown in 1991 when the World Cup was hosted in Italy, and also in 1995 when the tournament was in Ecuador. Now that's a nice ball over. Can they create across? It's a good interception there by Dieng. I mentioned he was moved from left back into centre back. And clearly, positional sense, he's very happy being there. It's a nice little ball across. I think it was Gyami from that left wing who was attempting it. Yeah, it was indeed. Yep, Gyami. It was going to be a tap-in if Dieng didn't actually manage to get that interception. Gavi was there and lurking. Ghana trying something here, all in a nice line. Look like they're queuing up for the post office, and as they try and wait and surprise Senegal, who've actually gone pretty much zonal marking anyway, so not that they're really worried about man marking Ghana here, but what can Ghana do? Set piece on point, it's a good ball in, and it's a scrappy goal, but it is a goal! Ghana open the scoring. It wasn't prestigious, it wasn't as good as their second goal in the first game, but Bagiami, he won't care. It's a nice finish. He was falling backwards. And if we see it again, I think the goalkeeper, yeah, he does get a fist on it. It's a really good reaction from Gyami. It was a nice ball in originally, actually, from Nyantakyi. But Gyami, the first to react. It dropped so nicely for him there, didn't it? And kept the ball down really well. It's so easy to just lean back, sky that one over. But he turns to celebrate, Gyami. And now they have to do what they couldn't in the first game, and that is hold on to a lead. And Senegal see their hopes of this tournament drifting away from them. I said that Senegal were the reigning champions. My apologies, that is incorrect. Read the wrong bit. They did win the tournament in 2023, but the 2025 winners was actually Morocco, hence why we are obviously in Morocco. As actually there seems to be an appeal here. Now, I wonder if there's a foul. I was wondering what we were waiting for. Now, it's not VAR. It's slightly different, so each team gets 2 appeals for the referee to go over to the monitor and see if there's a foul anywhere in amongst the penalty area involved with the goal. Now, I'm going to guess that they're looking at the number 24, Putti, on the goalkeeper for Senegal, Sarr, of course, just before, because there wasn't really anything wrong with the finish. The finishing from Gyamfi was a lovely, as we've mentioned, stroke into the back of the goal, falling away. But it's whether or not that was a foul and whether or not it impeded the goalkeeper from making a good enough clearance. There are two players from Senegal. One of them was definitely Asao Atsu Kofi Poeti. Can't quite see the number of the other one. So, as I mentioned, this isn't actually VAR. This is a different system. And it's one that gives the referee still complete control, but allows them to go to the monitor if it is appealed, a bit like cricket, I suppose. Or tennis. I think the other player, like having a long, hard look at this. I think the other player is maybe the number 13, Osman. You see the number 1. It's either that Abdul Rafiu. And this is going to take quite some time to figure out. It's been a good 2 or 3, well, probably even longer actually, since the goal was originally given. It's probably been about 2 or 3 minutes since we've actually seen the referee go over to the monitor. And I know this is a big goal for both teams. It's always a big goal in any circumstance in a game of football, of course. But the opening one in a game of this magnitude, it is Abdul Rafiu, actually, who is the first player near the goalkeeper. And it's definitely Asao Atsu Kofi Putti, sorry. Coming into the goalkeeper. He does come at speed. He's definitely going for the ball. I'm not here to make a judgment and to claim whether it's a foul or not. I'm just trying to see what I'm seeing. Goalkeeper definitely got a clean contact on it. It's just whether or not he could have made cleaner, I suppose, without the influence of the players around him. What I will say is there's absolutely no Senegal players around the goal of, the two Ghana players. That delivery is so on point, it absolutely outmatches the marking. So I can't hear what the referee has said, but I believe with the clapping of the Senegal players and the waving of the referee's hand, it is actually a no goal. No goal in the end. So, foul on the goalkeeper. We are back to 1-0. Sorry, we're back to 0-0, I should say. Actually, I'm just trying to edit my my notes while we go through that. Well, Gyamfi will have to wait for another opportunity here, as he has one goal ruled out via the match officials. There's a foul here for Ghana. So there's a bit of a problem here, actually, it seems. This was a strong tackle, wasn't it, on the on Osman, the captain. The yellow card gets gifted out to the number 13 for Senegal. That is Sao, one of the only players that managed to retain the starting lineup position in the midfield. Well, the only player, actually. I'm just having a look because there are a couple of players already that, if they do get a booking, they miss the next round. It's not Sao, it's actually Lamine Mbengu, who is playing at left back, of course, today for Senegal, and for Ghana, it's Issa Abdul Rafiu. Both left backs, ironically, for both teams. They get another booking, they will be missing the next game. Again, another stat to be in the back of the minds of the players while they try and push forward and win a crucial match. Gabby trying to win the header, but in the end, actually, it's somewhat controlled by Abayoje. Not sure he knows how he did it either, with the back of his neck almost, but he managed to get it down and try and push towards the box. Lovely kept in there by Gyamfi, using a little bit of the corner flag, but, you know, any way to keep it in. He'd be desperate to try and get his name on the score sheet after that one was ruled out. It's nothing to do with him. He did everything he needed to do, but in the end, obviously, VA gonna have to try and remember that one. The virtual appeal system meant the referee decided not to give the goal in the end, and Gyamfi has one left on him a little bit there.
Recover. Watch. Organize.
And Wechisama Naftal is the referee, who is probably going to be under a little bit of scrutiny after that elongated decision. I'm sure the higher-ups will be able to know whether he made the right one or not. I'm sure Senegal will be thinking he definitely did. Ghana will probably be thinking that he didn't. Lofted ball into the box from the free kick, though. And Ghana try and get it clear, and actually it falls to them quite nicely. Ghana just try and play it straight over the top to stretch a defence as much as they can, but Gabby really asked a little bit too much. Sorry, he was asked a little bit too much of there as the offside flag goes up. So Ghana, again, not really managing to hold on to the ball too much here, but definitely trying to push their way up as much as they possibly can. Senegal bring it down in midfield. There's so much space for them out there, actually, isn't there? If they can manage to get their foot on the ball and play nice little overloads and triangles like this, they've got a little bit of space for Wagner. Can he find anybody in the box? It's a decent cutback, but tell you what, there's a Senegal player coming onto it. Pouty needed to come in and make sure it was cleared wide. Senegal keep hold of the ball, and the pitch is looking very big and open for them as they cross it over to the box. It wasn't a bad ball from Sadio, the big holding midfielder. Clearly showing he can produce a pass or two as well if needs be. Inside, trying to pin the centre-backs as the ball gets drilled into him. Very good and strong there against the centre-back, who is very dominant. And Senegal get another throw-in. No big long throws this time. We can hear shouts of no foul, trying to make sure that they don't get any kind of better opportunity than the throw in if they're not going for those long balls. There is Sai. Haven't seen him too much apart from pinning a couple of defenders. He's got his back on Pouty now. To try and get some kind of foot on the ball, maybe get a little bit of interplay. Try and get the ball into the box, but Ghana have actually really got loads of players in the box ready to defend that. Sai did manage to get it turned, did manage to get the ball in, but it was to no avail. Actually, it was Dione Sai. So used to the number 9 being the centre forward, but he's actually on the right wing for this game, or this starting this game on the right wing. Here he is, trying to bring his right back into play. It's actually Sheikh Omar Sai's first start, like I mentioned before. Just having a quick look to see if He came on. He did come on for 15 minutes in the first game, sorry. So he's not exactly match fresh, but he's not completely without some match minutes either going into this one. It was only a couple of days ago, of course. There'll be some training in between, so all these players, you would hope at this point of the tournament, would be fresh enough to start the game, whatever sort of capacity that they may be in. Big, strong challenge there, and a little bit naughty, says the referee, Abdul Rafiu, and he was the player for Ghana who needed to avoid a yellow card. That will be him out of the next game versus South Africa. He picks up a booking. He got the ball first, you could argue, but he was a little bit stood up. It was a little bit forceful, shall we say, and the referee was right on top of it and thinks it was dictated a yellow card. So Abdul Rafiu, the only player who is in danger for Ghana, has now received the booking. That means he will not be playing against South Africa in the last Group D match. Because of course there are only a few Group D matches, well, a few group matches I should say as a whole, and it's very precarious. South Africa topping the group with a +1 goal difference and obviously a match win. Algeria, Ghana drawing on 1 point. And of course Senegal right at the bottom. Now the 4 third-place teams do go into a playoff between other third-place teams to move forward into the competition, as it's not a completely convincing ball, and that looked like a handball. Not a completely convincing clearance from Sarr. And the handball means Ghana get the ball back. We did see in the first round of games that I was watching between a few of these, well, involving a few of these teams and a few others, that the goalkeeping was arguably some of the weaker points of each of the teams. They're so good on the ball, passing range is fantastic, so athletic as well. I mean, that is a absolutely drilled ball, and not a bad offload either, considering it was almost harder than most shots you'll see. Lovely spray over the top. Can he get onto the other end of it? He can. Wagner gets to the byline, although it's a bit of a weak cross in. Ghana can control it back out. Abayaji continues a run, but they don't need it, actually. Well, they would have needed it, because Ghana put the ball straight out of play. Nian Taki losing the ball unnecessarily, so unnecessarily as well. I don't know whether it was a pass or whether he just overhit a little clip round the player. But either way, Senegal have an opportunity to put the ball into the box, and I think he was going for the volley in the end. It comes back down to him. Can he shoot from there? He can. It's a deflection, and almost Ghana having a deflected own goal, but it wasn't to be this time round. I think it was So, number 13, who was actually taking the shot, and the other player who has received a yellow card so far in this game. 1 for Ghana, 1 for Senegal. Referee says play on as they launch the ball into the box. Good take there by Kessie. And I think the referee now stops it in an attempt to aid the player who's been left on the floor. It's Faye, isn't it? One of the other midfielders. Very angry. Bit of a blow to the lower back. See what happens here. There's not really that much in that replay anyway, is there? But regardless, he obviously felt something. He gets straight back up, hits the floor with a bit of frustration and carries on the game. The referee signals Senegal away to be able to give it straight back to the keeper. I'm not sure. Yeah, there we go. He will pick it up. Sorry, puts it straight back down on the floor. I think he was just trying to scare away Dione, making sure he wasn't going to be pressed as Senegal nod it back to their own keeper without looking. A little bit dangerous, but equally the players clearly confident that they're on the same wavelength. Both keepers opting to kick it off the ground as well, rather than out of their hands. A little bit more control. Regardless, it's not helping the ball stick in any kind of advanced areas for either of these teams. There's another big collision there. And the Ghana player looking very apologetic, Barfo. I don't know if it was just a coming together or whether there was any sort of nastiness in there, but regardless, it's left Sai on the ground. Oh, yeah, no, you could see how that might come over on the player's ankle. Medical team have been brought on to try and make sure that Sheikh Omar Sai has the best chance at carrying this game on. 24 minutes in, he won't exactly want to leave the field, given the fact he's had his opportunity to start here. And a few worried faces, I'm sure, down the Senegal bench. He's back up and walking, though. That's a very, very positive sign. Exactly what we want to see, because the last thing we want at this stage, or any stage to be fair, is somebody to go down a player pretty much instantly. Senegal's striker in the previous game, central striker, was actually Dione, who's operating on the right. So you could argue Sai's actually come in for Segafal Mbodji, who did get an assist to his name after crossing in from the corner for Thior to nod in for his non-own goal. And they have an opportunity now to whip the ball in. Nice bit of movement, and in fact there's plenty of movement by the number 22, Dieng. It's nodded in. Good clearance. Senegal keep it, try and hoist it back. There's an opportunity for Ghana to break, and boy, would they love to get their name on the score sheet this time. That's massively overhit, though. And the counter-attack opportunity has gone a-begging. Gavi was making the run, but I think the ball into him was just far too firm. Puti were very calm under pressure there in the back line. Gets the ball forwards, and Ghana get the throw. But again, it's the sort of football you love to see from your centre-backs. You realise they're very good on the ball, but it is always a little bit dangerous. There was about 4 or 5 Senegal players trying to hunt them down. Just for one loose, scrappy pass could end up being a disaster. I mentioned Gavi a few times already, the central striker for Ghana. He's Hackler FC, sort of known as a bit of an almost emotional heartbeat of the Ghanaian press. He's certainly the one that instigates it, but Senegal haven't been dallying around in the back line too much over the course of this game so far, so there hasn't been much of a press needed. It's been quite a bit of that in the opening exchanges. Hoiking it up in the air and hoping for the best, although that could have been, almost was a very good ball. A little bit too high, a little bit too floaty. Gave Sarr an opportunity to come in and nip the ball from them. What can Sadio do? Tries to spread it, that could be lovely. But well intercepted by Abdul Rafiu. And back to the Ghana goalkeeper. Ghana, they could just do with just calming down a touch. There's a lot of these balls getting stretched over the top. Sure, managing to clear it away, and I think would get the throw in if it had actually gone out, but it didn't. Good strength there shown by Gyamfi. Trying to play it back into the middle. It might break here. What can Gavi do? Trying to break away. He's almost trying to get the shot off Gyamfi. I think a bit frustrated that he didn't get the ball back, and in the end, the offside flag goes up. Let's have a look. Was it offside? I mean, it came off the defender. He couldn't quite get it under his spell. Meg's one player, and then good tackle in the end. I'm not 100% sure where the offside actually came in there, but
Ben. Let's up. Shut the line. We have to.
Aboyage was very much interested in trying to mop up the ball across there, but Gavi wasn't able to really provide the ability to get the ball under his spell, really. And he's been feeding off scraps. He's been doing an awful lot of running so far in this game. Without the ball, half an hour, that can be a little bit tedious for a striker, but it is what they live by. Bread and butter is one opportunity. That's what you need to be focusing on. Senegal try and keep it in a tight space and ends up passing it straight out of play. It's interesting how both of these teams actually operate in terms of how they bring their youth through, how they train them up. I believe it's Senegal who actually bring in, they work quite closely with FC Metz in France, and they have quite a European influence over the style of football that they play, and their loans and the people that they work with. A direct partnership really with Metz means they have a direct route into that, whereas Ghana, diverse talent pool, very intense competition. They get they use the players like the from West African Football Academy, which is also sort of known as WAFA. We'll get back to that in a second, because I thought there was going to be an opportunity there for Gavi again, but it's not to be. Ball slightly pinged around a little bit too much, but that could be a dangerous one through. No, well swept up by Bouty. In fact, quite a few of the Ghana players that you'll be seeing here today are actually from the West African Football Academy. The likes of the Bouty twins, the two centre-backs, Michael Inyantaki, who of course is one of the central midfielders, and the Right to Dream Academy is actually where Michael Armour, one of the goalkeepers, has come from. So yeah, they do provide players directly into the likes of the Banana Inn FC, Ebony FC, True Democracy FC. So again, a lot of these players I mentioned earlier in the show. If you're not following Ghana football, you might not know a lot of the Ghana players, which is fairly understandable given that the age category that they're in. And the same with Senegal. If you're not following Senegal football, you may not have seen much of these players before. But a lot of them do come to Europe. A lot of players who actually have shined, especially for the likes of Nigeria, actually. Kelechi Iheanacho shined very, very heavily in his tournament when he was here. And, of course, Victor Osimhen, Michael Essien. It's more prevalent for a few players that you may well have heard of over in the likes of the Premier League and other places around the football academies. Football worldwide. But a nice free kick here for Senegal, an opportunity for Sadio to either whip one as a cross, or do you think he'll go from here? It's a little bit far out. I think we'd all love to see him give it a go, though. There's a lot of space on that left-hand side as he looks at it and as we look at it down the camera. And if anything, the way they've lined the wall up, it looks like he could have the opportunity to whip it over them. They've got Osman right on the end of that wall, exactly where Sadio would want to bend it. He does go for it. There's a lot of whip on it, and the keeper's not sure. Kessie has to bash it out of play rather than catch it and keep the ball. It wasn't the best effort of what we saw there. He really needed to start that a lot further left over Osman's head. Kessie probably expected it. Maybe that's why they gave such a lot of space for him to have a go at. But it's as good a test as we've seen for Kessie so far. As Wagner's getting told to move the ball so it's actually legally in play. He's instantly moved the ball back. The referee is happy, and Senegal get to have an opportunity to throw a set-piece routine into the mix. They're all loaded at the back post. The likes of Thior and Dieng will be the obvious targets, the two centre-backs. Thior, obviously, a goal scorer twice in the first game. What can they muster in this one? Wagner to lift it in. Referee, I think, is happy to let this one play. Yeah, there we go. The whistle is about to go. 34 minutes on the clock. It's a devilishly whipped ball in. But in the end, it was well defended by Ghana. Thior trying to put the ball back in, actually. I'm surprised he's all the way back out there. I'd have thought he'd be in the middle throwing himself at it. And 35 minutes on the clock. It was a good opportunity for Senegal, and they still have a chance to make something here. They've had quite a few of these sort of opportunities and throw-ins in the past 30 minutes that they haven't really taken any kind of advantage of. And it's well defended yet again by Ghana, the two centre-backs, the Puti twins, really very strong back there. Although that's loose. This could be Ghana's chance. On the break, lovely feed back in. Gavi couldn't get it under his spell yet again, but it's coming back to Osman, who tries to bring it back to the centre. It's a good tackle in the end. Senegal get away with it, and now it's their chance to try and break. Nice feet by Faye. Tries a little 1-2. In the end, it runs all the way, actually, to Wagner. And the momentum is extinguished. Having said that, in the middle of the park, lots of space to get it back out to Wagner, who runs at Osman, who's trying to trace back. Kese, not convincing with the fact that he thought that that was going wide. And there's two players actually left on the floor, but wow, Gavi had an opportunity. Again, he jumped over the ball rather than controlling it. And Ghana's golden chance went missing, and that's a bit of a shame, that one. Dione leaving a little bit too much, shall we say, on Rafiu, Abdul Rafiu. Just goes to show you, just waiting for little moments like that, little breaks, where these players can really show what they're about. And Ghana, well, both teams actually have some very tidy footballers in tight spaces, but especially for Ghana, they're just lacking up top just a touch. Oh, good take there. Well, it was good take in the end by Sarp. Does anybody actually... Oh, well, that's unnecessary. And I think there's going to be a bit of an issue here. Gavi was putting pressure on the goalkeeper, but I don't think it really... Dieng's response was as necessary as it needed to be. We caught it right on camera. It's interesting to know what the referee is going to do. He's backing everybody else away and wanting to speak to him. And yellow card is unsurprising, to be honest. Have a look at this. It's Gavi. He's not even anywhere really near the goalkeeper. And Dieng just deciding to take it into his own hands. I mean, I'm not entirely sure Gavi should have been holding his head as he went down there either, don't get me wrong, but not great by either. And Dieng deservedly gets the yellow card. The referee's just having a word with Gavi. Explaining that whatever antics was going on, he's not having any of it from here on out. Goalkeeper gets the ball back. And we've got 7 minutes roughly to half-time. But I imagine there's going to be a fair amount of added time due to that disallowed VAR goal, of course. Gyamfi did score off the knockdown from the corner. Ended up being a foul given against Puti and against Ghana. And the goal was disallowed. He hits it from there. That's ambitious. It would have been almost rivaling one of the goals of the season, goals of the tournament. And it looks like actually the two wingers for Ghana have just switched over, causing me a little bit of confusion, wondering why Aboje was just the one who hit that from the left wing almost, and Gyamfi is over here on the right wing now. Just a little something to shake up and give the defences. We got another yellow. No, referee's letting this one go. Painful one, that one to ride on from Dione. Referee's telling him to calm down, and probably rightly so. Nian Takyi on Dione. He wasn't really going anywhere either, Dione, I would say. Ball gets straight back to the Ghana goalkeeper's hands, though, and they can get us back underway. Look at the Senegal press. They've got 5 players all trying to chase down the midfield of Ghana. If they can get one ball, again, it's a bit of a lunge, and there's 2 Ghana players now down. The keenness to press, not always necessarily the best idea. And they're allowing somebody to come on and have a look and make sure that Mensah, who is the 23 that is down, is okay. And the yellow card is given to a shot. So, and I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, it is so. Number 13. That's his 2nd yellow. A red card. He's sent off. And it was a yellow card. There's absolutely no doubt about it. He can't believe it. When he watches it back, he'll realise that it's 2 definite yellow cards. He's gutted. He's going to have to vacate. Senegal are down to 10 in a must-win game. So 2 yellow cards for So. Means he has to go. He's not allowed to stay even on the bench. He's going to have to go to the changing rooms. And Seydina Issa Edera, the coach for Senegal, is going to have to come up with something clever now. It's going to be all-out Ghana attack just before half-time as well, that for So. What Senegal do now, I'm going to be very interested in, because that's going to be a midfield that's going to be very easily overrun now for Ghana. Do they drop back one of the strikers? Do they drop back one of the attackers? Do they alter the press? Do they go to a more of a counter-attacking system and allowing Ghana to have the ball? Because Ghana's real threat seems to be from the counter-attack. Try and attack from the left wing. A nice ball across, well defended, and it's already started. Corner for Ghana. Abouaji leaving the corner after having a little bit of good play on the left wing for Nian Takyi. And it looks like the Ghana players are going to try and instigate a similar sort of set-piece tactic that they used a little earlier on to get the goal. It wasn't actually directly from the tactic, but it did cause the goal. Gyamfi obviously sweeping it into the back of the net. They're going to try and launch it back on a goalkeeper this time, who actually takes it a lot easier. Sarr mopping up nicer than he did before. So Sarr holds on to it. The Senegal changed shape, or they're going to try to ride it out until half-time, when the coach is able to actually have a bit more of a say to his players. Dione struggling to hold it up for the time being. It looks like they've still got Dione at right wing with Sai through the centre, Wagner in the left wing position, maybe just a bit weaker in the midfield. That's going to completely ruin the press for Senegal. Gyamfi goes away from one, finds a player in the middle, but the control from Nian Takyi was not the one. Good opportunity for Ghana now. They need to strike if they can before half-time. That will really, really almost kill this game off pretty much with 1 goal. Launching it over to the right wing. Dione couldn't get his head on it. Senegal repeatedly giving it back to Ghana, who can't take advantage. And the ball is scrappily gone back to the goalkeeper. 1 minute of normal time left to go, but how long are we going to have held up by the fourth official is what Senegal are worried about, as they get a free kick, though. The yellow card. They seem to be giving out a lot of yellow cards nowadays. Yeah, yellow card given out to Esau Puti. Yeah, he'll have to be looking out now. Actually, on that, it's an interesting observation, is that both of the left-sided defenders for Ghana are now on yellow cards. Abdul Rafiu, who's going to miss the next game because he's on too many yellow cards, and Esau Puti. And there's going to be 5 minutes added time. And to be honest, I'm slightly surprised it's not more. That goal that wasn't a goal earlier on took an awfully long time to review. But Mwechisama and Naftal obviously happy that they're going to only play the next 5 minutes. As we were waiting, there's a bit too much of this, isn't it? It's a bit of a shame, really. In the middle of the park especially, there's been a lot of very physical challenges. I think the medical team have been brought on more times than we've actually almost had shots in this game, which is not what we want to see in the slightest. Obviously, in the first half as well. It's we need a little bit more calm and composure. It's FVS. I was just having a bit of a research about the system that they're using here. It's FVS rather than VAR. It's football video support. So rather than, again, a video assistant referee, it's more the fact that there's... Oh, my days. Osman almost put it into his own net. But yeah, a football video support just basically means there's a monitor with replays for the official to go and have a look at, the referee, main referee, to go and have a look at if a challenge has been provided by one of the teams. It's a simplified version to VAR, and to be honest, I actually much prefer it. But Osman absolutely skying it over his bar. He clearly didn't think that Kesse was going to come in and claim it, which is what I thought was going to happen. Gifting Senegal almost a goal, but actually gifting them a corner as they load the rear end of that back post yet again, trying to blindside Kesse. And if they could get a goal here, I tell you what, it would be a big lift for them, giving them something to keep a hold of going into that second half. Even with 10 men, Senegal need to do something here. Wagner throwing it all the way to the back post. It's played back across. Good clearance in the end. No Senegal players really launching themselves at it. The ball runs out over towards the left wing. Wagner picks it up again from the left. Tries to chip it in with his right foot. No one in the place where he put it. And there's an opportunity for Gyamfi to carry the ball here. Actually, it was a good tackle. I don't think we sort of had a cut of the camera there. I don't think it really was intended to go where the ball went, and Sarr, under absolutely no pressure whatsoever, ends up kicking the ball out of play. That 2 minutes left, the ball gets quickly put back into play by Ghana. And Senegal with a dangerous couple of flashes across the post there from the corner and from a free kick as well. Just goes to show that Ghana cannot relax. This is still only 0-0, but it's not writing anybody off. If anything, Senegal haven't looked any weaker since going down to 10 men. They've only been down to 10 men for approximately about 7 or 8 minutes, but they haven't been weaker, and that is a key point that they need to sort of hold on to as they're looking for positives going into half-time. If anything, the game has sort of looked very similar as a chase down for Dione there, as Kesse has to launch it back up and it runs all the way back to his opposite number. Roughly a minute left to go in this half. Wonder if there's going to be any added time in the added time due to the corner and the free kick obviously being awarded. Little bump in the back there. The referee's not having any of it. Abayoje making moves, trying to feed through one of the Ghana players. It's good defending. Exactly what they needed at that point, because there was 3 or 4 Ghana players queuing up to tap in. Sadio, nice turn out there, trying to look for an option on the left. Only finds Wagner, who wasn't anywhere near the left wing position, trying to help out his team in the centre of the park. As Gavi can't turn with the ball, but they give it straight back to Osman. Free kick, given off by Gavi, who hasn't had the best first half. He'll be very disappointed with his half, actually, Gavi, because I would say he's had 2 or 3 chances, not goal-scoring chances, but chances where he really could have got his foot on the ball to help his team out and maybe create something from him. Kesse very, very comfortable. Puti, again, has a big touch out to the centre. Sprays it over to the left-hand side, though, if he meant it. Fair play. Not the best touch by Abdul Rafi. Gives it out to the left wing. Ebayaji tries to lift it in. Nice control there by Gavi. Gets it under his spell this time. It's nice by Ghana. The penalty is awarded. Senegal down to 10 men, and they've gifted a penalty on the stroke of half-time. It did look like the Ghana player. We'll see who it was in a second. Yeah, no, it's scrappy. It's foolish. I think it's Dione. It's not needed. The player had already gone. That's an attacker trying to help out defensively. That's exactly what that is. And the penalty is given. I wouldn't be surprised if Senegal throw the challenge card just to try and get something, to try and almost put Barfo, who looks like he's going to be the one who's going to take the penalty, off his game. But there is no check that's currently being implemented. That's the difference between what VAR and this FVS is. Unless the coach gives a challenge, there is no second check. As the referee doesn't look like he's going to be moving over to his monitor. In fact, he's telling Sarr exactly he needs to be on the goal line. It is going to be Barfo, isn't it? I thought they were maybe trying to swap players halfway through there, as we were looking at the referee talking to Sarr. But Isaac Barfo staring the goalkeeper down. Sarr almost leaving a little bit one side, I think. No, he is in the centre, isn't he? Referee is very attentive to the lines here. It's taking a long time for Barfo to be allowed to take this penalty on the stroke. It's almost going to be the last kick of the first half, and this one will count, I imagine, if it goes in. If is the operative word for Senegal and Ghana. So for Ghana, Barfo a couple of steps back. An opportunity to take the lead against a 10-man Senegal. He is taking his time with the right foot, and it's a great save by Sarr. Massive moment for Senegal. He gets the plaudits from his team. He gets a round of applause from the crowd, and he deserves it, as half-time, I believe, has been called. In fact, no, I think it's a throw-in that's been called. They're still playing 7.5 minutes into this 5 minutes added time, but a massive moment for Asane Sarr, the captain of Senegal. The captain standing up when they need it most as half-time is blown. And if anything, the 10 men of Senegal are going into this half-time period with their heads held high. Ghana need to reset. They're going to have most of the ball in the second half. They're going to have all the attacking flair that they're used to. But after that brilliant save, Barfo will be disappointed from the penalty spot, but Asane Sarr will get the plaudits in that first half. So the half-time scoreline is 0-0. As Senegal now walk into the tunnel, walk into the changing rooms. They both had a word with each other in their teams. And it's going to be very interesting. We won't ever find out what is said in the dressing room, but we would love to, wouldn't it? Because what an up and down half that was for both of these teams. Ghana had the ball in the net. Senegal had a player sent off. Ghana had a penalty, and Senegal made the save. Wow, oh wow. We'll be back in a couple of minutes' time to see what happens in the rest of this match. So the highlights of Ghana versus Senegal. Well, it started out, as you pretty much would imagine, with Senegal holding on to the ball, but Ghana having a little bit more of attacking potency. This was the first goal that was chalked off by FVS, the video support system. The referee taking a good hard look at the goal by Gyamfi, and in the end it was actually chalked off due to Puti being obstruction on the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper after that became a little bit more safe with the hands, actually, Sarr, but that's not as good as he got. Trust me, it gets better. Ghana with a couple of strong attacks, but this is the closest that Senegal really came. Sadio trying to whip the ball in from afar. A little bit too far out for that kind of curve. Needed to set it a lot further into the corner. Kesse not convincing, though, punching it away and offering a corner, which has been, realistically, Senegal's best opportunities. Sarr mopping the ball up yet again, and this was a little bit of a rush of blood here, as Dieng pushed Gavi over. And this was the end for Sao. A second yellow card meant a red card for the shocked midfielder. And as I mentioned, I don't think he's going to be too shocked when he watches that one back. It was definitely a yellow card, potentially even bordering on a red, even though he'd already had that first yellow. It made the referee's job very easy indeed. And this is a penalty. A striker helping out his defence, clattering over the back. Dion giving the penalty away, but what a save by Sarr. Hassan Sarr making sure he's the hero. The captain stepping up, as I mentioned, in the live when they needed it most. Means that Senegal, even with 10 men, have got into the half-time team talks with their heads held high.
Bravo, Esther.
Ah oui, oui, oui.
Vem! Wahal guys, tu hal nengok dek.
Allez, Bambi, c'est mieux là. Pareil, intelligent. Intelligent. Viens, Bambi.
So as we see Ghana coming out of the half-time team talks, you'll note that it is still 0-0, but if you are only just joining us, you've missed an awful lot, let's put it that way. You can see them warming up down below us. Now, you may well, eagle-eyed viewers amongst you who didn't watch the first half, may well count 11 Ghana players taking to the field, and only 10 Senegal players will be warming up to take to the field in this second half, and that is because Sao ended up getting that red card. That's Al-Haji Ibrahima Sao, the only midfielder that managed to hold their place in the starting 11 after that loss against South Africa a couple of days ago. So with the 2 yellow cards, that actually brings the game's yellow cards up to 5 in total. Obviously, 2 of them being to 1 player, 1 red card. That is why Senegal realistically hold on to the, well, not the advantage, but they've taken more yellow cards. It's 3-2. And 2 to Ghana, obviously. There's been 6 shots over the course of this game. 2 of them have been on target, and everything is split equally. So though Ghana had 3 shots, Senegal had 3 shots, both of them had 1 on target. But if you're interested in how those shots line up to XG, I know there's a lot of XG fans out there a lot of the time. Well, the XG for Ghana was 0.85. For Senegal, it was 0.18. And there is a substitution. The number 23 for Ghana, I think, that's Mensah, is coming off for the number 18 of Kingsley Senior Fosu. So number 18 coming on there. Kingsley Senior Fosu. Well, looks like we got another change as well while I was taking down some notes. That number 19 coming on, Clement Aguirre. And Woolley as well coming on, the number 20. Numerically, very satisfying. Number 18, 19 and 20 all coming on for each other. Clement Aguirre, who's the number 19, coming on. He is a forward. And it looks like there's going to be a whole host of changes for Senegal as well. The number 15, Tiono Sao, who was dropped from the first game. And the number 6, Maurice Biao. Sorry, BA. Is also coming on. So I'll try and figure out who they all came on for, but it's 0-0, and Senegal did concede the penalty in the end of the first half. But as Barfo stepped up to take the penalty, it ended up being saved by a very good save as well, actually, by the Asane Sarr, the captain and goalkeeper, obviously, for Senegal. So we see Mensah coming off for Aguirre. Sai came off as well for Sao. So number 15, Sao, the new strike force for Senegal. And I'm just trying to figure out who has come on for who and where they are now playing. But whilst the game is going on, you can see that it's a good clearance there by Lamine, who... sorry, it's not Lamine, it's Inyantaki. These substitutions are throwing my notes all off. So many of them coming all at once. There is Lamine. Senegal, number 2. Who's been put to left back after having played right back in the first game. Senegal win it and just about hold on to be able to go for the throw-in. Looks like Gavi's held his place up top, but he's been joined by the number 19 of Clement Aguirre, who came on for Mensah. So Ghana certainly going for a more attacking lineup now. There's the number 18 of Kingsley Fosu, who seems to be coming on at left back. Or on the left side of the pitch for Ghana at least. Yeah, it looks like that Abdul Rafiu has been substituted as the ball gets whipped in, and it's going to be a corner ball. Quick corner taken by Ghana, launched over towards the back post. Senegal get it clear. And a good interception there by Osman. So the free kick being given, a bit of a slip and almost, well, he did win it actually, to be fair, didn't he? But the number 20, Michael Awuli, who is the player who's come on for Osman.
Player out number 23, Sheikh Omar C. Represented by number 6.
So 2 wing-backs are the change for Ghana. Awuli now at right back, Fosu at left back as they try and stretch towards the goalkeeper. And then the final change is obviously that change for Aguier, number 19. As I finally got my notes for the Ghana team down, it's taken me about 4 minutes to try and figure out where they are all playing. And that's without actually having a look properly at the substitutions for Senegal. Diallo looks like they've gone off as well for Bailly. And Sao has come. Sao would come on for Sai as well. So yeah, a bit of a change. A couple of changes round. Tieno Sao actually a defender. So Senegal going for that, avoiding the loss sort of tactic. Right, let's get back to it. Apologies for that. 5 substitutes at half-time, and not being all that familiar with all the players in their multiple positions means that sometimes it takes a couple of minutes to sort of get the notes back underway. I can imagine that Ghana are going to go very high pressing in this second half. Senegal need to hold on as long as possible. I wouldn't be surprised if they go slightly counter-attacking, but the problem is the longer they defend, obviously the more tired they get. But this is a fairly fresh Senegal team who didn't play much of the first game because there was so much rotation after that disappointing loss to South Africa, and it's a good ball out to the player that gave away the penalty, Dione. Couldn't get the ball across, and in fact I think there was only realistically one target for him to get the ball to. Either way, he couldn't do it. They do get the throw-in. There is Dione. Oh, it's a corner, sorry, my apologies. So Wagner over to take the corner, as he has done for the most of the other ones. And Senegal trying their own sort of queuing system, making sure that Ghana don't know where they're going to run off to. Ghana going for a bit more of a man-to-man approach rather than a zonal, but they're sort of doing a bit of a hybrid, to be honest. It's a good ball in from Wagner, and the keepers had to come out and have a bit of a swipe to it. It was exactly that. It was a swipe. It wasn't the most convincing thing I've ever seen, and almost Ayuli was on it, ready to flash off. Bumped off it in the end. It's actually a decent start by Senegal. Dione trying to put himself about a little bit. Faye as well, the number 10. Making sure that they still get forward. Ball down the line. It's a good one, actually. Played in nicely. Whipped back across, but no one's in the centre. I think Gavi had made that near post run. Didn't expect the ball to be flashed back across. And Ghana get the ball back. And within 7 minutes or so, and I wouldn't say that Ghana have been as dominant as I was potentially expecting after that half-time. I would be interested to know what was said. Right on the stroke of half-time, Senegal looked like they may well be crushed by the weight of everything that's happened to them, including a penalty, but actually it's potentially the best thing that could have happened to them was conceding that penalty and then actually saving it in the end. It gives them a proper boost going into the second half. And whipped ball in, didn't actually get past the first defender there for Fosu. And against Dione, who tried to carry it away, but they give the ball back out now. Getting it out to Gyamfi, who's had the ball in the back of the net once. He tries to whip it in first time to Gavi. Well defended. As Faye tries to find a little bit of space, but again loses it to the press of Ghana. Gyamfi operating on that left-hand side again, almost whipped it in to a waiting Gavi. The overloading, overloading right back, trying to charge in, couldn't quite get there. It was actually Isaac Barfow who was playing in midfield in that first half. It seems to have gone to a more of an aggressive wing back, right back sort of role. Maybe swapping out with Awuli every so often. As Ghana seems to have potentially changed shape. There is an argument to say they sort of play with a back four most of the time, then go to a back three when one of their wing backs press forward, and you can see that Fosu, the number 18, is nearly always up past the halfway line, whereas they seem to be pushing Barfow, who's now sort of playing right back a little bit into a more defensive shape until you can really get the excuse to charge forward. In fact, I think he was the one taking the throw, and the ball's been launched in, and a foul's been given as they're too desperate to try and get their heads on that one. Aggie, the perpetrator. I'm guessing his arm's just all over the back, yeah, pushing through the back over the number 22, Dieng, who himself is on a yellow card. Remember, I mentioned that Senegal had 3 yellow cards in the first half. Well, 2 of them went to Sow, and one of them to Dieng for that push that you may well have seen in the highlights at half-time. After Gavi was deemed to be a little bit too close to his goalkeeper for Dieng's liking. Took matters into his own hands and made sure that he wasn't close anymore, let's put it that way. To be honest, yellow card, I don't mind it. If it was the Premier League, it probably would have been scrutinised within an inch of his life and turned into a red card over something that wasn't really needed. Nice control there by Gyamfi. Can he find a little bit of space in the middle of the park? Senegal working very hard. All that cardio training will certainly be helping them in this situation, but can they keep it going for the next half an hour or so? Ghana just need to hold on to the ball, not rush it, just move Senegal around as much as they possibly can. If anything, the criticism for Ghana may be that they've tried to just get themselves forward a little bit too quickly without controlling the game, controlling the ball, and that's exactly what they seem to be doing here, finally putting the foot on the ball and making sure they're making good passes. That's a nice line-breaking pass into the midfield. Couple of overloads, and they were starting to turn up the wick a little bit, but they couldn't actually get there, and well defended out of play there by Dieng. Clearly a strong defender, as Awuli was trying to push forward. Does look like that Gyamfi over this left-hand side. Gavi just at the striker position on the left of your screen. Ghana really going aggressive. Nice, I was about to say nice control. It did look on the screen like it was going to be a good trap of the ball there. Sadio plays it through the line, and again a bit of a slip. That's a bit of a shame for Senegal, but they hold on to the ball. Bit of a lung-busting run here, and a good little Megs tries to lift it in. It's a great ball in. It's going to be 1-0 to Senegal. Ten men Senegal take the lead here against Ghana. And it was quite simply an unbelievable ball that made the tap in as easy as you like, but he still had to be there. And it was actually the player that I think gave away it's Dione. He gave away the penalty on the 49th minute, I think it was, of the first half. He's there to stroke it home. The keeper's in absolute no man's land. Kesse will be very disappointed with where his instincts took him. But Dione's instincts were absolutely spot on. What a ball in, what a finish. He's going to get a yellow card for the celebration, I imagine, but he will not care one bit. Senegal have taken the lead against Ghana. We haven't yet had confirmation of that yellow card, by the way. I'm just speculating based off the celebration. And Ghana really do have to work hard. Now, what does Senegal do? Do they keep the press? It looks like they are. And they don't want to stop what they were doing, which seems to have worked. Gyamfi sizing up his player. Couldn't get the better of him this time. Awuli looking into the centre of the park, but he's being tracked well by his Senegal player. Ghana moving the ball around through the centre backs. Nice, a lot of space here for Gyamfi, who's had a goal himself so far in this game. But it was chalked off due to the football video system, the replacement for VAR. If you're new to watching this tournament, simplified and frankly better version of VAR, as Ghana try and get the ball in. Gyamfi brings it down, tries to bring it out and bring Fosu into the game. It is an unbelievable challenge there by the Senegal defender. Can they spring another attack? No, Dione ends up treading on the ball and giving it away. This is going to be probably the order of the day now. Senegal may well go for counters. You never know, they could get a second. They may well need it, because you do get the impression that Ghana at some point will carve out a good opportunity. Not playing like that, they won't, though. Senegal are definitely in the ascendancy. It wasn't a fluke goal. It wasn't really against the runner player. I said that Ghana hadn't been playing as well as they needed to, as it looks like we're having another substitution. And it's Faye coming off. In fact, we're having two substitutions. It's Faye and Dione going off. This is potentially have what they hold situations. So Mamet Bar comes on, and Mboji, who started the first half actually at right wing, that first game I should say. It was dropped going into the second game. He's now been brought on. Now I've heard he's a very tricky winger, likes to get his foot on the ball. So the number 7, you can see just in the sort of front of your screen, and by the looks of it, Bar maybe operating in an advanced position with him. Two new strikers to continue that press. With half an hour left to go, their legs will be asked to run and keep running. Keep that press. Keep Ghana moving back towards their own goal. Make sure they don't get any joy. Awuli's definitely taken up that midfield position with Barfo at the right back. Means Ghana have more tidy footballers around the park, and there's overload to be played here. Great interception. It's going to go out for a corner, but they're going to celebrate it anyway, I imagine. As there's another substitute. Abayaji going off. And the number 21 coming on. Latif, as Ghana take their second corner relatively quickly. It isn't the most clean corner though, and Senegal have an opportunity to sprint at Ghana and make sure they had to go all the way back to their defence. It's a bit of a loose pass, but they managed to swat it up for the time being. So wholesale changes for both of these teams, almost completely different shape, or definitely players moving around positions which they weren't in before. Trying to play it out to Gyamfi. And again, another corner. Ghana have had a few of these, and apart from the goal, to be fair, they got chalked off. They haven't really done that much, especially when they play it short, which they look to be wanting to do again this time. No, it's a throw-in. Referee making sure they actually do the right set piece, and rightly so. But Ghana have had the ball a lot, doing pretty much exactly this. Passing it from side to side, trying to auction a gap, and they've managed to do so. But again, Ghana haven't been able to really have the final touch. They can't get it under their control in the opposition box.
Forward.
I'm actually just going to see if I can have a quick look. See what the possession stats in this second half have been. Because I imagine it's, yeah, there we go. The XG, Senegal, 0.69. That goal obviously doing an awful lot of favours, but 0.1 for Ghana. I mean, the expectation was that it was going to be very heavily the other way around. The XG of 0.1, but a ball possession of 78% in this second half, as they give Senegal yet another free kick. Really says it all. I mean, as well, 134 successful passes for Ghana, but only 28 for Senegal. They've scored the goal, though. So stats don't tell you everything. Whenever anybody says that one player is better than another due to stats, or one team is better than another due to stats, pretty much show them this game, or a game of the equivalent. It never tells the full story. Ghana have an opportunity now to break. Senegal committed a fair few players forward. But again, they seem to have to slow it down. Not the best pass forward. Gyamfi on this left-hand side has had a bit of space, probably the most amount of space that any Ghana player has had on multiple occasions. Hasn't been able to do anything with it. That's the real crux for Ghana here. Nice pass in. They've got an opportunity to get down the right-hand side. Good strength shown there by Agui. But the foul given in the end, as good defensive work rate by Senegal's left-hand side. And I think, is it that man again? Yes, it is, Dieng. He's been colossus at the back. He was brought to my attention due to the altercation with Gavi early on, obviously, but realistically, he has been very, very good. A massive reason why Ghana haven't been able to do anything. Even going before that altercation, thinking about it, Ghana had a couple of balls whipped across that 6-yard box that, if it wasn't for Dieng, would have ended up in an easy tap-in for them. Senegal player on the ground. I don't know if it's a bit of a cramp. It certainly wasn't anything to do with the challenge as far as what I could see. 67 minutes to be getting cramp, and they've already made a whole host of changes, is not what you want to see. He seems to be back up and running back now, if not completely free. Ball over the top and well held onto by Sarr. No, I think that player is, yeah, still down. Number 18 coming off, and with the speed of the camera cuts, I'm not entirely sure who was coming on. There goes at the number 10. So that's Fosu coming off. And Joseph Narby coming on. Well, that's a very innocuous injury potentially being picked up there. That's a bit of a shame. But we've already had Fosu come on, so he was substituted on at half-time. And by the looks of it, he's just been taken off for the number 10 of Joseph Narby. Now, there's a lot of medical attention going on for the player that's on the floor, so while that is happening, I'm just going to try and get a bit of a better idea of how the lineups are now sorting themselves out. Yeah, definitely was confirmation that Kingsley Senior Fosu, who was coming on and playing at left back, has now been swapped out for the number 10 of Joseph Narby. So as the player is getting stretchered off, we do hope the best. I mean, it's always hard when you see a player going down slightly innocuously, and that is a player that Ghana do not want to lose, number 11. Wagner is providing some fantastic set pieces. Hopefully we see them back before the end of this tournament. The way Senegal are doing, they may well progress in this tournament now as well. I don't know if they've confirmed what the change is for Wagner yet. But I'll keep an eye out on it. It's brought forward anyway by the substituted Narby. Tries to look for a little ball through. Ghana throwing attacking players on pretty much wherever they can fit them at this point.
Substitution for Senegal team. Player number 11, Mohamed Wagner, representing number 17, Maggie.
So number 17, Magiu Niang, is coming on. He was, again, a starter in that first game. So has match fitness, and you would expect, we'll be told, that he has to use it as well. Wagner off of Niang. I hope Wagner is better in the coming days. Ball whipped in, well, not really whipped, floated all the way to the back post and not controlled there by Narby. He does seem to have taken up a position over this slight left-hand side, not really on the left, but slightly on the left. If anything, we've got Putti, the number 25, who is, of course, Jacob Putti, at this sort of left-back position. And look at that, number 3, Barfo, who started as a defensive midfielder, has now gone to right-back and is now in centre-back. Almost a back 3, I think Ghana have gone to try and afford themselves a little bit more flexibility and a little bit more forcefulness in the wider areas going forward. But there's just been nothing through the middle. As I say that, they pick it up in the middle with a nice little turn, and Senegal are swarming all over them. Cleared out by the defence, but as soon as I think it was Nyan Takyi picked the ball up in that sort of between the defence and the Wagner. He won't be able to get back on the pitch, but it is fantastic to see them walking and not have to be stretched all the way off and being taken to the medical or anything. Oh, we found a ball out to Narby. Ball across, well defended again. Not many players who to be hitting actually when they get into a position to provide the ball into the box. But they are starting to work a little bit more room potentially, which they need to do. But again, they've only got 2 players in the box, neither of them making a near post run across defenders. They do seem to be playing with 2 strikers now, though, I feel, like Agui and Gavi. And since coming on, I haven't really seen that much of the number 21, Latif, to be honest. In fact, I can't even see them on the pitch anymore. He says, after just realising that Latif is the person who shepherded Senegal out of play there. That was Niang, the player who came on for the injured Wagner. And I don't think anybody is shocked to see that Senegal are taking their time with this throw-in. It's going to be a launched ball by Lamine. 100-metre dash almost to take the throw-in. Does go an awful long way, but to no real avail for Senegal. It was almost kicking for touch. Carried forward there by Putti now. Trying to find a pass. There's no one in the midfield. He has to go and surge into the space himself. Does manage to beat one man. Out to Nabi, who skins past one. What can he do with the other? On his right foot, Nabi. He's appealing for a handball. It's going to be a corner kick, though. The coaching staff looking really rather shocked. I mean, that is... There's no challenge, put it that way. It's a difficult angle to see at that one. It's obviously difficult to see it without it being slowed down and seeing maybe a couple of different angles, which we possibly don't have. In fact, yes, we do. Right on cue. Oh, I tell you what. I think they're appealing it. Yeah, and I could understand. After seeing that second angle, I could understand it. The appeal process then. The Ghana coach, Prosper Ogum Narete, even I should say, has put in a challenge. And the referee, that means, will go over to have a look at whether or not he thinks this is a penalty. It's a really good run by Putti to start with. And then that's a fantastic little bit of skill. Comes back inside, and this, you would say, if it does strike his arm, if it's below the sleeve, he's definitely making himself bigger. And he's definitely trying to block the ball. What will the referee, who's already had to make one big decision when it comes to a goal, he's already had to make a decision when it comes to a penalty. This is his second review of the game, and he's asking for it to be zoomed in. That looks suspicious, but we'll wait to see what the referee, Naftal, comes out with. At the moment, I would say he's had a good game. I think all the big decisions he's had and made them correctly. Let's see if we can listen.
Okay, coach. The arms, he was in natural position. We start with the corner. No penalty.
No penalty. So he deemed the arm to be in a natural position as it was blocked. Look at that, no histrionics, everybody getting on with it. That's exactly what we should be seeing. So, Ghana corner. Again, Senegal going into that zonal marking system, not man marking. As the ball is whipped in and it's headed out. It beat the first man, but it wasn't exactly the best. Worked out to here by Nabi. Out to the person who's missed the penalty already. He almost made up for it, Barfo. Great save in the end by Sarr. I think it may well have been hitting the bar, but Barfo put everything he had behind that one. Nyan Takyi whips it in again. It's a dangerous ball, pretty much exactly where the previous one was. And it's yet another corner, but we're going to have another medical treatment here because I think it's a head injury as the players are grabbing on his teammate. Hopefully they just leave him be and say no to the medical assistance because they don't want him to have to go off the pitch. I do fear that that's not really their decision to make, but Dieng, yet again, a colossus at the back. Doing his bit for his team as the ball's not in, is not quite as good this time. He's going to have a second bite at it. Lofted into the front post. There's a few Ghana players there. And again, Barfo attempting it. Oh, it's come out. It's a Ghana goal. Is it going to be an offside? Yes, it is. Very obvious, I feel like, that one. No real reason to have to go to any kind of review this time. That's actually a review gone. I mean, he's about 10, 15 feet offside. That's Barfo, wasn't it? I don't think it was actually going in. It may well have clipped the top of the crossbar. And then he got a player down yet again. Is that Dieng suffering from before? And now is able to get attention. His teammates allowing him to get attention due to the fact that obviously they're not marking a corner. Senegal defending brilliantly here, I would say. even though Ghana have got a player advantage, they've thrown every attacker pretty much that they have on the pitch. You wouldn't say that Senegal have really been at much of a disadvantage. They've just changed their tactic and are defending brilliantly. I mean, this would have been unbelievable if it had been on target, which I don't think it's going to be classified as being on target. That's Barfo. He would love for it to have gone in, though, because I bet he feels, rightly or wrongly, a little bit guilty right now, having had that penalty saved in the first half. Now, I sometimes like to say that I think if a penalty is saved, but it was a good penalty, it's a good save, then it was a good penalty. Sometimes keepers just get the better of you, and I would think I'd put that down to a Sané Sarr just having a really good save. It was at a comfortable height for him, don't get me wrong. It wasn't plumb perfectly in the corner, but you see a lot of penalties go in that are not plumb perfectly in the corner and not hit with the massive amount of power and are a keeper's height. So, yes, it could have been slightly better, but let's give credit to Sané Sarr instead of taking blame at Barfo. That's all I'm trying to say. But that doesn't mean, from his perspective, that he wouldn't have wanted that one to go. No, he's desperate to rectify it because his team, as a consequence, went into half-time 0-0 and are now losing 1-0. So, for him, it doesn't matter how good or bad the penalty was. It just matters that it didn't go in. Now, there's a bit of a slip and an opportunity here for Ghana, cutting on his right foot, and I feel like that was telegraphed. Nabi obviously wanted to come across. There was space on his left-hand side. That's where he needed to go with the ball. That's where he needed to try and produce some kind of little bit of magic. Something that Senegal were not expecting. They are piling men into the middle of the park. And with 10 minutes to go, Ghana need to come up with something special twice to break this Senegal team down and to get their first lot of 3 points on the board. That's a really reckless challenge. And Mbodji going into the corner, he ends up slipping over himself, actually. Senegal slightly stretched, well, more stretched than they have been, but Ghana having to turn back around and giving them an opportunity to get back into that shape. It's interesting, actually, if you look at the history of this competition, Ghana actually won. Well, they were on the podium, let's say. Oh, a nice little bit of skill. I'll come back to that in a second. And good tackle in the end. Awuli wasn't able to get the shot off. Nicely drifted past there, operating on the right-hand side now. Gyamfi trying to drive into the box, giving something to think about just before the corner's taken. Ghana in the first 3 iterations, 1995, 1997, 1999, Ghana won it twice, and sandwiched in the middle was actually a 3rd place medal. So Ghana used to being right at the sharp end of this championship. They've actually only won it twice, but that's drawing with the most amount of times as Senegal move themselves up the pitch. And there's a fantastic ball over, but it's just given up by Mbodji. I feel like he may well have been able to get there. I feel like he was also the harder pass as Senegal win the ball back all the way up into the opposing half and then needlessly kick it out of play. That was Tierno Sow as well, who was a defender but was brought on at half-time for Sai, the striker, won it all that way and could have channeled his inner striker there if he'd managed to just hold on to the ball a little bit more. Not the best pass over to Nabi. And such is the desire to get the ball back in play so quickly. Ghana actually taking their throw-ins from about 20 yards further back than they needed to be. So I don't think they've got a long throw specialist of Ghana because we haven't seen it once come out today for them. Senegal have had a couple of opportunities and some decent hold-up play by Sai when he was on the pitch. Nabi looking for the pass in, missing his teammate and giving Senegal another chance to clear and have a 1, maybe 10-second breather from defending, which seems to be all that they are doing now. Nabi trying to get underneath it. Since he's come on, he has been absolutely everywhere. Nice footwork by Agui. And again, Senegal just try them by themselves. 10 more seconds where they don't have to chase a ball constantly. Attack versus defense. These are the training drills that both of these teams will have grown up on, and they seem to be really exercising what they've learnt now. There's a fantastic bit of defending yet again from Senegal. I mentioned Sao coming on for Sai, but even though he's a defender, and that potentially is the reason why. Tackles like that win you games. Nyan Takyi. Consistent, if not the most effective corners, although this time he's aimed it towards the back post, and there's not many people marking out there. There's plenty of people queuing up at the back post, but it doesn't manage to get there. Senegal not able to break this time, but certainly putting pressure on Ghana to have to pass it back to the goalkeeper. Look where Gyamfi's come to actually pick the ball up from. Not entirely sure what position you could argue he's trying to play now, actually. Look, definitely Nabi at the left. Gyamfi just seems to be operating in a sort of almost inside forward role as Nabi trying to force his way through. Almost a nice little bit of step over, but he gets the corner yet again. Everything, no, he doesn't actually, it's a goal kick, but everything for Ghana is coming down this left-hand side now. Senegal only have to hold on for 4.5 minutes plus stoppage time to finally get themselves 3 points on the board after what was a pretty abysmal loss against South Africa in the opening game. Ghana have the same amount of time to try and get a draw out of this one, which would be their second draw of the tournament, in a very different fashion, though, to the way they got the first one. Trying to play it over to the left. Nabi trying to push the ball back inside, but again, there was no one really in the place where he was putting the ball. I get the impression that Ghana are playing the ball into positions rather than actually looking about where their players are. Nice little step, forcing them way through the centre. Is that going to be a free kick? No, it's not. Senegal give the ball straight back there. There's space on the left-hand side for them, but they chose to go the other way as Nabi slips. A switch of the ball, though, is exactly what Senegal needed, because there was no right-back cover. Even though they're back now, this is forcing Ghana a little bit further, and they're a little bit risky there playing it with the goalkeeper. We've seen that both Pooties, whether it's the 24-25, whether it's Asau or Jacob, very comfortable with the ball and clearly trusting Solomon Kiam Kese, who we haven't seen loads in this sort of last 15-20 minutes now due to Ghana having all of the ball. Nice ball put in there, though, and it's good take by Asar, who, again, though, I would say he's probably had less to do than the Ghana goalkeeper. Which is quite shocking, considering the amount of possession that Ghana will have had. Exactly how much, I will tell you now. So overall, Ghana have enjoyed the ball 67% of the time, but in the second half, it has been 80. There has been, wow, 225 Ghana passes with only 30 successful. This is with only 37 successful Senegal passes. The stats really can be fascinating as a foul is given to Senegal, I believe. 2 minutes left of normal time, and I can't imagine there's going to be a massive amount of added time either. Maybe 5 minutes if Ghana are lucky. Hopes of a turnaround win could be scuppered here, but a draw they would take from this position. Senegal not even worrying about chasing that one down. Lost causes are not their order of this game now. They just want to make sure they walk away with all 3 points. The switch is on for Pookie. There's a good ball over and a nice bit of skill from Latif, whose name I've only mentioned twice since he's come on. One was for shepherding the ball out of play. The second was exactly what you've just seen there, which is nothing that Ghana needed. That left side of Senegal's defence has been so good. As Ghana now push from the left, as they have done for almost the last 15 minutes straight. He's only been on for a small amount of time, but I would argue that one of the most tired players on the pitch will end up being that number 10, Nabi. Awuli's gone over there to try and make some kind of assistance as well, it seems. He's been popping up on that left-hand side. Less than a minute of normal time. Senegal could find themselves pushing towards the top of Group D. Well, at least actually, sorry, they won't be top because South Africa is still there with 3 points, but the ball goes across for Ghana. Is this their lucky break that they're looking for? Awuli picking up the ball. Nice little play with Gyamfi, but he couldn't get it back. There's space on the right-hand side. Players on the back post. Ghana have about 7 players in the middle, but they're just not producing the ball into the centre, constantly looking for the pass. 6 minutes of added time. I said they'd be lucky to get 5, but there's been a lot of injuries. Drifted in, and the head is going to be an easy catch for Kesse. Sorry, Sarr. Yes, Senegal will not go top with this, but they will go back to 0 goal difference and just behind South Africa. Remember, it's top 2 that qualify for not only the next round, but also the FIFA World Cup Under-17s. It's hosted in Qatar. Ghana get the ball back underway. 6 minutes means maybe there's an outside chance of getting this victory still. Ball played in, and again, no real striker in that 6-yard box apart from Gavi, who's pulling his... Well, actually, probably just rushed it, and Dieng yet again. He's been absolutely brilliant for Senegal as Dieng, but that's a fantastic bit of skill. They cut it back. Finally, there was almost a Ghana player at the other end of it. The amount of times we've seen little cutbacks, passing back across, balls into the area from Ghana that haven't produced anything. A good shooting opportunity, and it's going to be a goal kick. I thought it was going to be a corner, sorry. Abdul Latif trying to finally get that ball onto the left, but he was almost waiting for that perfect opportunity that was never going to come, based on the fact that every Senegal player on the pitch will have been throwing themselves at it as soon as the shot looked like it was coming. Good flick on there from Senegal, allowing his team just a touch of space. Four minutes to go. That's not the way through for Ghana, and it's kicked for touch once more. Puti driving the ball forwards, trying to look for a smart little pass through, almost threading the needle. You know, Senegal are smart here. They could just manage to hold on and get themselves down the line. Instead, they just pass it up the line. I don't really blame him. There was not much there. Ghana resorting to just spreading the ball up to that left wing position and hoping something sticks. Gyamfi's actually returned back over here. He gets the ball across. Great defending in the end. It could have bounced anywhere, but it's got into his goalkeeper's hands. And Asane Sarr will clutch and hold on to it for as long as he possibly can, until the referee tells him to get on with it. He has to let go eventually, and it's gone out straight for a throw-in. The ball's there to be collected and to play straight away for Ghana. But is that Gyamfi maybe getting a little bit frustrated, moving over to this side as the ball's kicked straight out of play for Ghana? And you know what Senegal are going to do here? They are going to take their time. And why wouldn't they? This is a massive win for them. It also, I mentioned what it does to Senegal. It puts Ghana down into last place, where there's no real positive from that at all, because they would be goal difference of -1. They would have 1 point. It's still the same as Algeria, depending on what the result of the Algeria versus South Africa game comes out as. If Algeria win, then Ghana are pretty much out of this. They'd have to wait for results to potentially go their way on another day. But they can't wiggle through again. 2 minutes. Massive for both teams. And it makes, as I said, Algeria versus South Africa a huge game in its own right. Ghana with the latest of many, many corners. Latif to throw it in there. First ones from that side for a long time. It has to be said, what a hit that would be. Gyamfi wanting to get his name back on the score sheet. That would have been a very long way to do it. No, I suppose he's already done it in the first game, didn't he? Let's face it, that 40-yard chip. Again, potential goal of the tournament. That will not be any saving grace if Ghana go out in the group stages. Nabi out to Gyamfi. Trying to find it back onto his left foot. He's going the hard way. Open up a little bit of space. He's got 2 players in front of him. He needs to do something with it. He's managed to dig out a cross, and I tell you what, it was a good one. But there was no Ghana player throwing themselves at that back post. Again, I think it's only really Gavi. Again, with a near post run, is not really good enough for them at the moment. Agui is in there as well, of course. Corner in from Latif and a good punch away from Sarr. 40 seconds left, and the last chunk of that could be taken up if Senegal carry the ball up the field, but instead they just kick it out of play. That'll waste 10 seconds. They could have wasted 20. And those sort of fine margins are the difference makers when it comes down to the crunch time of a game like this. Senegal and Ghana, neither of which would have thought they'd be down here, but this has been deemed the group of death for reasons. And reasons that Ghana are currently feeling. We're coming up to 6 minutes now. This must be near the end, the last attack. That's what Senegal will be thinking. We're at pretty much the halfway line. And Ghana still don't look like they're rushing it. There's players at the back post. If Puti can launch it in there, he does. It went low. And that is going to be the full-time whistle. Senegal have beaten Ghana. The 10 men of Senegal have beaten Ghana. It was all looking doom and gloom in the first half. A penalty save, inspirational going into that team talk. And then that goal from Dione halfway through the second half. A fantastic ball into him. An accomplished finish. And then an absolute masterclass of how to lock down a defence for a good 20 minutes against such an attacking side of Ghana. And Ghana know that could be disastrous. They'll almost be hoping that South Africa beat Algeria so that Algeria and Ghana are still both on 1 point each. It'll be a fight for third for them, but Senegal have catapulted themselves onto 3 points, which they'll feel very pleased about it, especially the way they've done it. Celebrations and singing for Senegal here. A great atmosphere. Fantastic support as well. We will be able to have a chat to the player of the match hopefully soon, but you can forgive them for having a bit of a chance, an opportunity to enjoy that moment with their fans, with their supporters, with their friends. Deservedly so. And the player of the match. Goalkeeper, number 16, Asane Sarr. That penalty save, captain, leader, deserved man of the match as well. Total Energies man of the match then. Asane Sarr, well done to him. Taken away from the celebrations somewhat, but let's listen to what he has to say. after a host of pictures with the coaching team as well, of course. Just one more, just one more. Here we go.
Ok, c'est bon. Ok, merci.
D'accord, ok. Quel est votre sentiment après être élu? Quel est votre sentiment après être élu l'homme du match?
Merci pour la question. C'est un grand plaisir. C'est ça mon rêve pour gagner mon équipe. Surtout, je suis le capitaine. Ok, merci.
Hassan, c'est bon, Hassan. Parole pour tout le monde.
Well, that was an extremely quick player of the match interview. Almost didn't have time to get ready for the stats. But Senegal 1-0. I mentioned Ghana's possession, the total shots, the shots on target. I get the impression that was actually from the first half. A lot of those statistics, but because the corners, Ghana definitely had a lot more corners than that. Anyway. Regardless, it was a fantastic match between Ghana and Senegal. Senegal deserved the victory in the end. I mean, that is, I mentioned earlier, an absolute masterclass in how to defend your box for 20-odd minutes against a relentless side of Ghana that really did only do their attacking down the left-hand side, but it meant that the right-hand side of Senegal had to stand up to the test, and stand up to the test they did. It'll be a enjoyable evening from their perspective, I imagine. An opportunity to maybe go and watch some of the other games, South Africa versus Algeria, obviously, to hear about what the result of that was. And, of course, just hopefully cool down. They'll have done an awful lot of running, covered an awful lot of miles over the last 90 minutes or so. A big thank you for coming down and enjoying that one with us. Hopefully you stick around for CAF TV on YouTube or wherever you're watching this for more action over the course of the next couple of weeks. You can see the Group A and various other groups finishing scores in front of you at the moment. And if you do want to watch more, by all means turn over or keep it tuned to CAF TV. My name has been Jack Oliphant. It's been an absolute pleasure being your commentary host for this afternoon, I should say. Please enjoy the